The next time that you look for that easy fix, that you pick up that phone just to scroll, or you have your kids crying and you look to give them something just to placate them for the moment, what is that setting up for the future? It's time for us to get back to being present with where our feet are. If you're tired of not feeling fit, tired of just not having the focus, tired of just not getting the life that you deserve, this is your place to be. I'm Jason Yarusi. This is the Live 100 podcast. Today, let's talk about MrBeast and why we think MrBeast is a great example for how kids can look at life. Now, you may think of this, when you think of MrBeast, it's just extreme content, too much noise, too much screen time, all the things, right? And we are not a proponent of allowing our kids to constantly be on screens. One of the things that we made a point of is to not have screens, right? One thing that I always look at and I wonder about the future of is when I am out at a restaurant and I see parents sitting there trying to placate their kids with screens so potentially they could have some noise, right? Now, we get back to many different theories of how we treat this, right? And I get it. It's not comfortable when your kids are upset or screaming or hungry or thirsty, when you're out somewhere and you don't want to have eyes on you. So you try to do something like give them a screen that can placate the noise. Now, I got back to the spoon principle, right? Something we did early on. Early on is that, we found that if we gave our little kids something of activity, right, we would get them a spoon, they would keep themselves occupied. But where we would falter, where we would fail is they would drop that spoon, right? And then create chaos again, because now there's all this upset anxiety because they can't get that spoon. So we started asking the waiter for 5 spoons right when we sit down. And that 5-spoon theory carried over because they would drop a spoon, it wouldn't be a big deal, and they would carry on. So when you think about life, there's always alternatives, right? And if you're looking for the easy, it might shape the way that kids think of things into the future, right? They constantly can't be bored. They constantly can't discover, right? One thing that I force upon my kids is that when we're driving at times, I will not put on the radio, no podcasts, no audible books, and not have them have screen time, just make them sit there and just be. One of the most powerful things I remember when I was a kid was like going out there and exploring, right? You were going out there and you were finding things, you were discovering things, you were making things of nothing, right? And we've lost that ability today because we're constantly in the need to have something that is almost like a sucker, right, for our mind, something that's in front of us at all times. But when I get back to MrBeast, I think about this, right? He has found a way to do something as a YouTuber that he's not just that, he's a CEO. He's invests basically all of his money, reinvests it into bigger productions. He looks at this as basically scaling a business. He has these moments of understanding where he looks at this from a reinvestment, creates an episode or an epilogue of risk management. Because he keeps putting everything back into the business continues to grow, continues to get the eyeballs. And my son ran the math the other day that it was something like 1 of every 80 people in the world that subscribe to MrBeast, right? And if you think about that, just think about that dynamic there of how many eyeballs he's been able to create. When in fact, he started this, plus decade ago, just on a hunch of something he'd like to do. Think back about your life, about the things you've liked to do and the things that you haven't done. Now, imagine you did something that you like to do with no expectation of what it would provide. And what MrBeast got excited about is he redefined what it meant to think big. He had the Squid Game, right? Some of you have watched the show, The Squid Game. He recreated that in a logistical operation involving 456 people and 3.5 million bricks of creativity. Now, think about that. Just the concept. You might say, well, how did he do that? How did he look at that? Because his relationship with money, it's not selfish, it's strategic. You look at what you want today, and many of us might have the thought that if I'm going to do something, it has to produce some result. So many times we don't do something that might cultivate just artistic desires or just creative desires because we don't immediately have some impulse of some response, right? Some reaction, someone giving us something back. And the hardest thing to do is to do when others think that you're crazy or you're wild or you're an outsider, right? Because you're the one who's doing something different than the norm. Now, MrBeast, he set a trend here that he went to look at money as a tool for impact and not just for consumption. I was watching I think Friends and Family is a show there tonight. And, this guy, Barney, he was talking about him and his wife, right? How they just have stuff. They have all this stuff in all these rooms that they never go into. And now they're building an addition onto the house for more rooms that they're never going to go to. And then they have all this stuff and all this stuff they never use. But then they talk about all this other stuff that they want that they can get. They can just get more stuff to have more stuff that they're just not going to use. That's a part of many of our lives, is that we build a life on consumption and not on value. You've built a life on just wants and look and not on desire. You've built a life on just a hope and having and not an impact. So if you can get back and you can look at the pattern of how MrBeast has designed his life, how he's created his empire, it was not on him looking sane in the moment. He was the crazy one in the moment, out there filming videos, doing wild adventures, creating these contests of which who was going to watch? At the beginning, nobody. Now you think of this, you think of all these different things that started as a wild assumption, right? Airbnb, I'm going to share my house for people to come sleep on. How crazy of an idea. Uber, I'm going to use my car to just give it to people or allow people to come drive in my car with me to go to some destination. They said crazy, right? You think of all these things that are going to be crazy ideas until they're not. Now you think about your life. How many ideas are you sitting on? How many ideas are you not taking into account that can make you happy, that can make you feel better, that can make you feel fulfilled? How many are you not doing because the opportunity to do that risks your ability to get something that you can consume right away? The next time that you look for that easy fix, that you pick up that phone just to scroll, or you have your kids crying and you look to give them something just to placate them for the moment, what is that setting up for the future? What is that setting up in the need to have some immediate result from some action that's happening right now? Ask yourself, you look at this and we don't want the constant dopamine hits that train the brain for short-term thrills over long-term focus. It's why silence is so important in our life. It's why meditation is so impactful, because it makes us sit with our mind. When you think about sitting with your mind, just how painful that can be because of all the noises, all the activity, all the things that are trying to come in and out of your mind at all times. And then you have to sit there and be present in the moment. It's time for us to get back to being present with where our feet are. It's time for us to stop looking for these short-term dopamine hits and to limit the consumption, and then also understand the context of what you do. While it doesn't seem big today, it's going to matter into the future. When you ask, well, why can't my kids, stay focused? Why can't they deal with things that are not easy? Well, it's because they've been given a pacifier for years and years and years to allow them to just get over the moment. We have to live in the moment. We have to live in these uncertainties. We have to live in these inabilities. We have to realize that the things we do today may never come through to provide something into the future. But if you're happy doing it, if you love doing it, then why does it matter? Not everything has to be A plus B equals C. Sometimes A plus B just equals awesome because it makes you happy. But if you think everything has to be, I put $1 in, I get $1 back plus more because, then you're going to have a hard time finding something that really, truly matters to you, that you really love. Because if you really love something, you do it, whether or not there's some end result or not. So look at your life and look at how you can be present as a parent, as a student, as a teacher, as an educator, as an influence, as someone who can be present in your faith, who can be present within your family to showcase how it looks to show up in the now, to go after things that are important to you that might not ever stand out. And you might look like the weird person today because not everyone is on the same path as you, because they just don't understand why you would do that if there's not some immediate return. The world lives on dopamine. That's why we see all these big social media aggregators have so many different reactions and triggers to keep us on the platforms. But what would happen today if you just shut off the noise, if you just turned everything off and look at ways of just how others, although they're providing the dopamine hit, MrBeast, right, have gone after something that excites them, something that gets them up in the morning, has gone after something that they think is fun, that they think is enjoyable, that they think is exciting. And then lo and behold, the benefits pale in comparison to the pains that were early on. The first day, no one's going to know your name. The first year might be the same. The fifth year, who knows? Maybe a couple other people will agree with you. The sixth, the seventh, and eighth, it might get a little better from there. But if you're happy, if you're enjoying it, and it's what really gets you going, then why does it matter what others think? Look at your life and look at the opportunities in front of you and understand your opportunity is now to take back the now. Not tomorrow, not next year. It's right now for you to go out there and do things that excite you and stop doing what other people think you should be doing. So if you want to get a little more read on what you can do today, go over to jasonyarusi.com. There's a free assessment there. You just click and you take that assessment, it just gives you more feedback about how life operates for you. And there's a free ebook there. If you want to talk about, how risk and reward, or just looking at breaking habits that no longer serve you, a very easy read you can download today. Take that home with you, look through it and see how that can be part of your life starting the destination today. All right, that's what I have. I'm Jason Yarusi. This is the Live 100 Podcast. Let's do this.